I'm back. Let's get it in. Us and Robert Greene and them 48 laws, baby. Law 25. I'm gonna play a little music, ambiance music for us, okay? Gabrielle Aplin. Oh, excuse me. Aplin. Skylight, Mahogany Session, and Lush. Do not accept the roles that society forced on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. Incorporate drastic devices into your public gestures and actions. Your power will be enhanced and your character will seem larger than life. The world wants to assign you a role in life, and once you accept that role, you are doomed. To stop allowing others the ability to limit and mold you. Working on yourself like clay should be one of your greatest and most pleasurable life tasks. It makes you, in essence, an artist of creating yourself. Good actors control themselves better. They can play sincere and heartfelt, can affect a terror and a compassionate look at will, but they don't have to feel it. They externalize emotion in a form that others can understand. Learn to play many roles to be whatever the moment requires. Adapt your mask to the situation. Even appearing natural requires art. In other words, acting. Law 26. Keep your hands clean. You must seem a paragon of civility and efficiency. Your hands are never soiled by mistakes and nasty deeds. Maintain such a spotless appearance by using others as scapegoats and catpaws to disguise your involvement. Excuses satisfy no one and apologizes make everyone uncomfortable. The mistake does not vanish within an apology. It deepens and festers. Better to cut it off instantly. Distract attention from yourself and focus attention on a convenient scapegoat before people have time to ponder your responsibility or your possible incompetence. Folly consists not in committing folly, but being incapable of concealing it. All men make mistakes, but the wise conceal the blunders they have made. While fools make them public, reputation depends more on what is hidden than on what is seen. If you can't be good, be careful. Baltasa Gracia. Let someone else be the executioner or the bearer of bad news while you bring only joy and glad tidings. As a leader, you may imagine that constant diligence and the appearance of working harder than anyone else signify power. Actually, though they have the opposite effect, they imply weakness. Why are you working so hard? Perhaps you are incompetent and have to put in extra effort just to keep up. Perhaps you are one of those people who does not know how to delegate and has to meddle in everything. The truly powerful, on the other hand, never seem to be in a hurry or overburdened. While others work their fingers to the bone, they take their leisure. They know how to find the right people to put in the effort while they save their energy and keep their hands out of the fire. I have the ability to help people escape reality. Law 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. This book. Oh, this book. Oh, I should have been brushed up. You know who I haven't heard in a while? Let's see. I told my sister, she's got gorgeous long hair. It's natural. I said, you ought to wear an afro. She always has it braided up and has a scarf or something on. I said, you ought to do like Leela James. She said, who on earth is Leela James? Okay. I thought everybody knew who Leela James was, just like I thought everybody knew who Jill Scott was. Cult-like following. People have an overwhelming desire to believe in something. Become the focal point of such desire by offering them a cause. Become the focal point of such desire by offering them a cause, a new faith to follow. Keep your words vague but full of promise. Emphasize enthusiasm over rationality and clear thinking. Give your new disciples rituals to perform. Ask them to make sacrifices on your behalf. In the absence of organized religion and grand causes, your new belief system will bring you untold power. The science of charlatanism, or how to create a cult in 5 easy steps. Step 1, keep it vague. Keep it simple. Your initial speechless conversations and interviews must include 2 elements. On the one hand, the promise of something great and transformative. On the other hand, a total vagueness. To make your vagueness attractive, use words of great resonance but cloudy meaning. Words full of health, and enthusiasm. Fancy titles for simple things are helpful, as are the use of numbers. And the creation of, somebody should edit this, new words for vague concepts. All of these create the impression of specialized knowledge. Talk too vaguely and you have no credibility. But it is more dangerous to be specific. Most people want to hear that a simple solution will cure their problem. The ability to offer this kind of solution will give you great power and build you a following. Step 2. Emphasize the visual and the sensual over the intellectual. Amuse the bored and ward of the cynics. Dazzle your followers with visual splendor. Fill their eyes with spectacle. Not only will this keep them from seeing the ridiculousness of your ideas, the holes in your belief system, it will also attract more attention, more followers. Step 3. Borrow the forms of organized religion to structure the group. Create rituals for your followers. Organize them into a hierarchy, ranking them in grades of sanctity, and giving them names and titles that resounds with religious overtones. Ask them for sacrifices that will fill your coffers and increase your power. Talk and act like a prophet. Step 4. Disguise your source of income. Never reveal that your wealth actually comes from your followers' pockets. Instead, make it seem to come from the truth of your methods. Step 5. Set up a us versus them dynamic. First, make your followers believe they are part of an exclusive club, unified by a bond of common goals. Second, manufacture the notion of a devious enemy out to ruin you. There is a force of non-believers that will do anything to stop you. This is good. If you have no enemies, invent one. Like agents, you are Neo. Like the devil in Christianity. Like a villain in a superhero comedy movie. How about yourself? Self-sabotage. Man in the mirror. Let's keep going. To become the founder of a new religion, one must be psychologically infallible in one's knowledge of a certain average type of soul who has not yet recognized that they belong together. Friedrich Nietzsche. That's German. Nietzsche. Men are so simple of mind and so much dominated by their immediate needs that a deceitful man will always find plenty who are ready to be deceived. Niccolo Machiavelli. People are not interested in the truth about change. They do not want to hear that it has to come from hard work or from anything as banal as exhaustion. boredom, or depression. They are dying to believe in something romantic, otherworldly. The task of the marketer is to convey, design this romantic message. Our tendency to doubt, the distance that allows us to reason, is broken down when we join a group. The warmth and infectiousness of the group overwhelm the skeptical individual. This is the power you gain by creating a cult. Remember, too, that the most effective cults mix religion with science. Take the latest technology trend or fad and blend it with a noble cause, a mystical faith, a new form of healing. The charlatan achieves his great power by simply opening a possibility for men to believe what they already want to believe. Greene de Francesco. Reversal. You may often prefer to deal with people one-on-one, isolating them from their normal. Malua can have the same effect as putting them in a group. It makes them more prone to suggestion and intimidation. Law 28. Interaction with boldness. If you are unsure of a course of action, do not attempt it. Your doubts and hesitations will infect your execution. Timidity is dangerous. Better to enter with boldness. Any mistakes you commit through audacity are easily connected with more audacity. Everyone admires the bold, no one honors the timid. Fear of failure in the mind of a performer is for an onlooker already evidence of failure. Actions are dangerous when there is doubt as to their wisdom. It would be safer to do nothing. Largeness of scale deceives the human eye. Fearful persons seldom fail to fall into real inconveniences occasioned by imaginary dangers. Cardinal de Retz. Imaginary smoke. Okay. The best place to begin is often the delicate world of negotiation, particularly those discussions in which you are asked to set your own price. How often we put ourselves down by asking for too little. My God. I just raised the price of what it costs for my KDP books if I'm helping you on Etsy. Yeah, I was charging too little. Set your value high, and then, as Count Lustig did, set it higher. If boldness is not natural, neither is timidity. It is an acquired habit, picked up out of habit to avoid conflict. If timidity has taken hold of you, then root it out. Your fears of the consequences of a bold action are way out of proportion to reality, and in fact, the consequences of timidity are worse. I certainly think that this is better to be impetuous than cautious, for fortune is a woman, and it is necessary, if you wish to master her, to conquer her by force. And it can be seen that she lets herself be overcome by the bold rather by those who proceed coldly. Niccoli Machiavelli. Wisdom is a woman. Fortune is a woman. Reversal. Timidity has no place in the realm of power. You will often benefit, however, by being able to feign it. At that point, of course, it is no longer timidity, but an offensive weapon. You are luring people in with your show of shyness, all the better to pounce on them boldly later. Law 29. I love Lauryn Hill, but I'm not going to be able to... Plan all the way to the end. The ending is everything. Plan all the way to it. taking into account all the possible consequences, obstacles, and twists of fortune that might reverse your hard work and give the glory to others. By planning to the end, you will not be overwhelmed by circumstances, and you will know when to stop, gently guide fortune, and help determine the future by thinking far ahead. The ability to ignore immediate dangers and pleasures translates into power. It is the power of being able to overcome the natural human tendency to react to things as they happen and instead to train oneself to step back, imagining the larger things taking shape beyond one's immediate vision. How much easier it is never to get in than to get yourself out. In their beginning, it is we who guide affairs and hold them in our powers, but so often once they are set in motion, it is they which guide us and sweep us along. Michael D. Montagne. Montaingene. Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. Your actions must seem natural and executed with ease. All the toil and practice that go into them and also all the clever tricks must be concealed. When you act effortlessly as if you could do much more. Avoid the temptation of revealing how hard you work. It only raises questions. Teach no one your tricks or they will be used against you. Sprizatura, Nisim Talib. Keep the extent of your abilities unknown. The wise man does not allow his knowledge and abilities to be sounded to the bottom if he desires to be honored by all. He allows you to know them but not to comprehend them. For guesses and doubt about the extent of his talents arouse more veneration than accurate knowledge of them, be they ever so great. Baltasar Gracian. As a person of power, you must research and practice endlessly before appearing in public, on stage, or anywhere else. Never expose the sweat and labor behind your poise. Some think such exposure will demonstrate their diligence and honesty, but it actually just makes them look weaker, as if anyone who practiced and worked at it could do what they had done, or as if they weren't really up to the job. Keep your effort and your tricks to yourself, and you seem to have the grace and ease of a god. One never sees the source of a god's power revealed. One only sees its effects. Practice all things in a certain nonchalance which conceals all artistry and makes whatever one says or does seem uncontrived and effortless. Badassari Castiglione. Okay. On Spezzatura. Only the finished masterpiece should be shown to the public. The idea of sprezzatura is relevance to all forms of power, for power depends virtually on appearances and the illusions you create. When you reveal the inner workings of your creation, you become just one more mortal among men. What it is understandable is not awe-inspiring. We tell ourselves we could do as well if we had the money and time. Avoid the temptation of showing how clever you are. It is far more clever to conceal the mechanisms of your cleverness. The more mystery surrounds your actions, the more awesome your power seems. You appear to be the only one who can do what you do. Keep others at distance and they will only see the ease with which you move. A man who performs well with so much facility must possess even greater skill than he does. Baldassare Castiglione. Reversal. As long as the partial disclosure of tricks and technique is carefully planned rather than results of an uncontrollable need to blab, it is the ultimate in cleverness. It gives the audience the illusion of being superior and involved, even while much of what you do remains concealed for them. Bloggers do this. They reveal some of their stuff, just not all of it, so that their future book will sell. Tim Ferriss, 4HWW, 4HB. Law 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. The best deceptions are the ones that seem to give the other person a choice. Your victims feel they are in control but are actually your puppets. Give people options that come out in your favor, whichever one they choose. Force them to make choices between the lesser of the two evils, both of which serve your purpose. Put them on the horns of dilemma. They are gored wherever they turn. Too much freedom creates a kind of anxiety. The phrase unlimited options sounds infinitely promising, but unlimited options would actually paralyze us and cloud our ability to choose. Our limited range of choices comforts us. Most common forms of controlling the option color the choices. Kissinger would propose 3 or 4 choices of action for each situation and would present them in such a way that the ones he preferred always seemed the best solution compared to others. Force the resistor. Push them to choose what you want them to do by appearing to advocate the opposite. Alter the playing field. John D. Rockefeller set out to create an oil monopoly. If he tried to buy up the smaller oil companies, they would figure out what he was doing and fight back. Instead, he began secretly buying up the railway companies that transported the oil. When he then attempted to take over a particular company and met with resistance, he reminded them of their dependence on the rails. The shrinking option. Raise the price every time the buyer hesitates and another day goes by. This is an excellent negotiation ploy to use on the chronologically indecisive who will fall for the idea that they are getting a better deal today if they wait until tomorrow. The weak man on the precipic. The weak man on the precipic. Work on their emotions. Use fear and terror to propel them into action. Try reason, and they will always find their way to procrastination. Brothers in crime. You attract your victims to some criminal scheme, creating a bond of blood and guilt between you. They participate in your deception, commit a crime, and are easily manipulated. The horns of a dilemma. The lawyer leads the witnesses to decide between 2 possible explanations of an event, both of which poke a hole in their story. They have to answer the lawyer's questions, but whatever they say, they hurt themselves. I thought I had the whole thing. Apparently, I only have to 31. Let me go see. Pause. I'm back. I had to put y'all on pause for a minute. Yeah, I only had to 31. That's okay. I have pulled up a summary. We're going to go through that summary. Play into people's, Law 32, play into people's fantasies. As the truth is often ugly, if you appeal to it, you risk being bombarded with the anger of disenchantment. Instead, by tapping into the fantasies of the masses, people will flock to you as you offer an alternative to the disillusionment of reality. By observing which aspects of everyday life are most abhorred, you can conjure up fantasies that promise the opposite of people's current realities and thus wield a phenomenal power. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. Find your opponent's weakness. This is often an insecurity, an untamed emotion or desire, or sometimes a secret pleasure. To do so, look for the following. Instances when they behave like a child, which indicates some unresolved trauma in childhood. Contrast as an overt trait. You know what? As much as I love Solange. Praise the Lord. Contrast as an overt trait often conceals its opposite. Arrogance is often hiding insecurity. The weak link, which is often someone behind the scenes controlling their behavior. Ways to fill the void of their insecurity or unhappiness to wield significant power. How to encourage their uncontrollable emotion as they won't be able to control themselves and you can do the controlling for them. Discover each man's thumbscrew. If you want a more detailed list, I posted the videos, Art of Seduction. I don't think it gets more clear than those videos in regards to thumbscrew. Okay? That's a summary. So, quick, easy, straight to the point, not a lot of beat around the bush. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion, act like a king to be treated like one. How you present yourself to the world will reflect how others see and treat you. Carry yourself with self-respect, confidence, and dignity to make it seem like you were destined for power. We must make ourselves demand and expect as much as a young child. Believe you are destined for greatness, and this belief will radiate outwards, and others will believe it too. Ask for less, and that is exactly what you will get. Master the art of timing. Never seem to be in a rush. Patience is a virtue. One of my Sherpas, Valerie Love, says, "You are never late. You are always right on time." Okay. Learn to abide your time and only strike when the timing is right. As time is a perception, by mastering your emotions, as time is a perception. As time is a perception. Don't you like how that? As time is a perception. Just keep saying it to yourself until it sinks in. By mastering your emotions, you can make time seem to move more slowly and lengthen your perception of the future. This allows you to become more patient and to see the bigger future. Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignore them is the best revenge. The less interest you take in things that irritate you, the more superior you seem. By acknowledging your enemy, you give their existence credibility and therefore power. Paradoxically, the more you want something, the more it eludes you, as your interest is too strong, which makes others feel uncomfortable and fearful. Occasionally, it's best just to leave things alone. By turning your back on what you want, you will drive your opponents crazy. Law 37. Create compelling spectacles. By generating grand, spectacular gestures, you will heighten your presence and your power. People will be too dazzled by appearances to uncover what you are really up to. As opposed to using words, visual gestures contain an emotive power and an immediacy that leave no room for doubt. When words divide, images unite. Use this to your advantage. Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. By consistently going against the grain in public, people will begin to resent you for making them feel inferior. Practice blending in and hiding your true feelings to nurture the common touch. By doing so, you will be left alone to express your true beliefs in a targeted manner. Once a base of power is established, you can then begin to disseminate your beliefs gradually, and they are more likely to be adopted. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. If you stay calm while infuriating your opponent, you can gain an advantage. By finding their weakness, you can disturb them and play them at will. The more angry they become, the more ridiculous they will appear. This will reduce their power. 40. Despise the free lunch. Generosity softens people's up to be deceived. Robert Greene. Ooh-wee. Never trust anything that comes for free. Anything of worth is worth paying for. Most things that come for free come with a burdensome psychological price tag. By paying, you avoid falling into the trap of having to be grateful, guilty, or deceitful. Further, being lavish with your money is a sign of power. Generosity softens up your opponents into being deceived. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoe is Law 41. What came first always seems more, but we need Law 40 on repeat. Real talk. Despise the free lunch. soften you up for the blow. Okay. 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. What came first always seems more original than what follows. Don't get lost in the shadow of those that came before you. You must establish your own name and identity by not following the same course of your predecessors. Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. All trouble usually can be traced back to one individual. By rooting out this individual and preventing them from operating, you will stop their influence. Don't waste time on their influence, or their influence will multiply. In every group, power is concentrated around one or two people. Consequently, understanding who controls the group is critical. That is made more challenging. As troublemakers prefer to disguise their actions, isolate their power, however, and they become redundant. Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. The ability to measure people and to know who you're dealing with is the most important skill of all in gathering and conserving power. If you feel coerced into acting in a specific way, they will resent you. Instead, you must seduce others so that they will act how you want without you having to ask them. By understanding their psychology and their weaknesses, you can play with their emotions and conquer their hearts and minds so that they are loyal to you. By softening them up, you can slowly bend people towards you and will without them realizing. Law 48. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. By mirroring your opponent and doing exactly as they do, you humiliate them and cause them to overact. By making them believe you share their values, they find it challenging to work out your strategy, as they are blinded by your mirror. You are also able to teach your opponents a lesson by giving them a taste of their own medicine. Michael Jackson was good for that, Man in the Mirror. 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. If you have recently entered a position of power or are